Hi, this is Krista at the Secret Yarnery. Today we are learning this super great Drunken Granny stitch. And the best thing about it, it's super easy for beginners. It looks complicated, but it's not. We're doing the exact same row every single time. So it's a pattern repeat of one row. So all you have to know is one row, and you just keep doing it until it's the size you want. So let's get started. Today we're making the Drunken Granny. I'm just using this worsted weight for Kenyan acrylic. It's similar to a craft yarn, just whatever you have on hand, whatever you want to make your Drunken Granny with. It'd be great with cotton, bamboo, wool, whatever you have handy. It could even be done with scraps. So I'm just using this nice tangerine color, and if you hear some knocking, it's this little guy. So to get started, we want to do a slip knot and a starting chain. Our chain is going to be a multiple of 5, so just make a slip knot and shrink it down, put it onto your hook, and we're going to do a relaxed chain, so we're not going to correct the tension. If you have some bigger stitches, it's all right. So just grab your yarn and bring it through. Because we're doing a multiple of 5, you can either count it out, count to 30, count to 100, count to 120, but because I'm just doing a sample, or maybe if you're making a blanket and you don't know how many chains you need to make it, I just do it like this. I count to 5, so I've already done 1, so I go 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way along until my chain is the length that I want my my piece to be. So because I'm doing a sample, I'm just going to make it a bit longer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, oops, 4 and 5. And now we're going to chain 4. So we did multiples of 5 for this, and now we're going to add 4 stitches. If you want to count to make sure this is a multiple of 5, it's totally a good time to do it now. Or if you counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you're pretty much sure it's multiple of 5. So now do a chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and into the 6th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it's the 6th V underneath the hook. So we don't count the loop on our hook. We count these little V's underneath. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here is 6. That guy is number 6. So wrap your yarn and into the 6th chain down from your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go into the bottom part of that loop, so just on top of this little moon shape. You want 2 loops of that stitch on your hook. Grab your yarn and bring it back. Wrap your yarn and take off 2. Wrap your yarn and take off 2. So that is our first double crochet. We are going to do 3 more. So wrap your yarn and go into the same spot. Grab your yarn and bring it back. Wrap your yarn and take off 2. Wrap your yarn and take off 2. There's our 2 double crochets, and now again this is our 3rd double crochet, and here's our 4th. So wrap your yarn into the same stitch, grab your yarn and bring it back, wrap your yarn and take off 2, wrap your yarn and take off 2. So there's our 4 double crochets all into the same stitch. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Wrap your yarn again and 1 more double crochet into the very same stitch. There's our last double crochet. So those are the building blocks we're going to be making the Drunken Granny out of. So wrap your yarn, and now we're going to skip 4 stitches. So how you're going to count your stitches are just along the bottom of the V. So this is the first one we're going to skip, this little guy. So 1, 2, 3, 4 into the 5th. So we're going to go into that one there. 1, 2, 3, 4 into the 5th. We're going to work another building block. Wrap your yarn and into the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Push your hook into the bottom part of that stitch, getting 2 loops onto your hook. Grab your yarn and bring it back, and we're going to do a block. So that is 4 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, wrap your yarn, and one more double crochet into the same stitch. Oops. And working on the chain is a bit fiddly. It'll go a lot faster. This is the slowest it's going to be, so just bear with it and just keep working along your chain. So again, we're going to skip 4. Remember to count that little guy in the beginning. 1, 2, 3, and 4 into the 5th. Push your hook into the bottom part of that stitch, getting 2 loops on your hook, and build another building block of 4 double crochets. Here's 2, 3, and 4. A chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and one more double crochet. So it's looking like this if we were holding it properly, or like that as we're working on it. And now keep working along your chain doing the same thing. So skip 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wrap your yarn into the 5th. Go into the bottom part of that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 loops on your hook. 4 double crochets. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and one more double crochet into that same spot. Just always remember that you have a little stitch waiting for you in there. That's the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4 into the 5th. Wrap your yarn, go in, getting 2 loops on your hook, and build another building block. So our blocks are 4 double crochets, a chain 3, and one more double crochet. So here's my 4th double crochet. Here's my chain 3, and one more double crochet into the same spot. Now you have a couple stitches left, 3 to be exact. So at the end of the row, wrap your yarn. We're going to skip 2 stitches, so skip 1 and 2, and into the 3rd stitch, or the very last stitch, push your hook in, grab your yarn and bring it back. We're going to make 1 double crochet. So this is going to make a nice edge on our work, and that is the end of our first row. We've gotten that far. So chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, turn your work, and into this first space, and every space going along, all these chain 3 spots, we are going to be building another building block of 4 double crochets, a chain 3, and 1 double crochet. So here's my 3rd double crochet, my 4th, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Wrap your yarn and one more double crochet into that space. So now it gets going a lot quicker because we're just going to be working into these spaces. We don't have to piddle around with any chain. Wrap your yarn and just jump over this whole bit here. Just jump over the whole thing, just ignore it. Get into the next space and make another set of 4 double crochets, a chain 3, and 1 double crochet. There's my 4 double crochets, chain 3, and one more double crochet into the space. Wrap your yarn, jump over all of those stitches, and into the next chain 3 space, we're going to make 4 double crochets, a chain 3, and 1 double crochet. 1, 2, 3 chains, and my last double crochet. So now keep working your way along like that, and I'll meet you when you get to the end of the row. So now we're here. There's one more space over on this side, but we're going to leave it. That's not really a space that we're going to be working into. So just wrap your yarn and go into the top of the top of the chain 3. If you turn your work up, you can see the 4 V's on the top of your double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here is the top of the chain. That little V over there, that guy. So you can turn it up to look, or you can just push it in this way. I just push it in over there and make 1 double crochet. So that is the edge of your work on this side, and we're ready to turn and go back. And we're going to repeat this exact same row every single row, which is why this Drunken Granny stitch is so great and so quick and so amazing, there is only one pattern repeat row for the whole thing. So that is the best thing ever. So chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, turn your work, and now build a shell into each of these spots going all the way over, and our shells are the same. So they're 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4, a chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1 more double crochet into the same space. So those are our shells. So keep going all the way along, and I'll meet you at this edge. When you get to the end of the row, remember we're skipping over this. We're just going to do 1 double crochet. So you can either turn your work up and look for those V's, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go into the 5th, or just ignore those double crochets and go into the top of that chain. So that's over the edge over there. Just push your hook in and make a double crochet. So that is the edge of our Drunken Granny. On both sides, you'll see that it is lovely. And if you make a tight chain or you crochet tightly, you could also use a bigger hook for your foundation chain. Another option for you. So if you're going to keep going with this color, you just do your regular chain 3 and turn your work and keep going along. If you want to change your color, I would change it here. So I've just finished my double crochet. I would chain 1 to secure my yarn. Oops. Cut your yarn, pull your hook up and your yarn through, and snug this down to secure. Now I would just weave it into these back loops. I want to weave it in over here because that's where I'm going to be putting my 5 double crochets that can help pin it down. So I'm just going to bring it over. Just loosely. I don't want to do it tight. I just want to get it through the back loops and over here so I don't have to sew it in too much later. You can always just sew it in later and join your yarn however you want to. This is just the ultimate in laziness for me. It's a bit fiddly now, but I prefer it to the stress or the task of having ends to weave in. And now, so I've woven it around just the back loops. I'm going to take it back this way. So just hook in from behind, bring it through, stretch it out, and hook in from the front to bring it back to the front. So now it's laying along this space twice, and it won't stretch out. When I finish going over here, I can cut it. So now I'm going to get my new yarn color. So I'm going to join into the same spot. I'm not turning my work. I'm just going to push my hook in to the top of that double crochet. It's a bit bulky because we did a chain 1. Loop of yarn on my hook, bring it through, and slip stitch with both to join. Now I'm going to drop my tail. This one we're going to have to sew in and do your chain 2. So I'm counting this join as my first chain of the chain 3, but if you join your yarn in a more traditional way, then you would do a chain 3. Turn your work, and now we're going to do our block into this first square. So that is 4 double crochets, a chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1 double crochet into the same spot. So there's our first block with our new color, and now just work your way along as we always have been and change your color whenever you feel like it. So for our ends where we joined our color, those ones we have to sew in with a needle. But the ones where we finished our color, those ones we can cut off because we worked it underneath, back and forth underneath all those stitches. So that one can get cut off. And this one where I finished this green one, that can also get cut off. So just give it a tiny bit of a pull and cut it off, and it'll shrink back underneath all of those stitches and you will not see it. These other ones, oh, and my orange I can also do where I finished my orange off. So half of our ends we can just cut off, and the other ones we need to take our needle and sew in. So I'll just show you quick how I do that, because I know when I started I was always wondering how to do it. So basically you follow the color that matches. You don't want to sew it in with a different color. You want to kind of follow along with the color that it matches. Oops. So I'm going to go back up this chain. Oops. And along the top, and then down. I want to weave it back and forth underneath over here, because that's a lot of stitches to hide my tail, so that'd be a great spot to tuck it in. I'll go all the way over. And now if I stretch it, the tail can still wiggle out, so I want to weave it in going back. So I'm just going to grab that other strand so it has an anchor on that side and pull it back through like that, and now we can cut it off. So you want to do that for all of your ends. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial for the Drunken Granny. It works up so quick and it is so impressive. It looks like you really tried, or you really thought about something, and really you're just doing this exact same row the whole way through. It's amazing. I love it so much. So thank you so much for watching. Oh, and it looks good on both sides because we've been turning, so there's not a good side and a bad side. It's a great pattern to make blankets or anything like that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a super great day. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button below, and thanks for watching. Stay hooked.